a lot of people I don't know yet. So my name is Redeker. I live in Invermere, British Columbia. I've been District 5080 Secretary several times, so for probably 4 or 5 years in total. And I'm a new secretary, just like many of you, in my club. I'm a member of the District 5080 Passport Club, and we meet online through Zoom meetings or GoToMeetings. And so I'm learning as we go, but I've done this training a few times in the past together with Lynn and others. So hopefully we get through this with me learning more about the actual role of being a secretary than as district secretary. Thanks.
We are recording now.
Excellent. And I'm your host. I'm Debbie Dawkins. I'm the district trainer, and it's a pleasure to bring you another quality training. All of the trainings that we are putting through the district training committee will be re-recorded or recorded, as Bob said, and then put on the district club runner page so that you can watch it again, or you can share it with someone in your club who might be looking for some answers as secretary. So this, along with several other trainings, will be out there, and I encourage you to take a look. There's things out there on the foundation on how to mine foundation reports from Rotary International. There's a great fundraising video that Bev Reed and Linda Bauer put together. There's Bev Reed's Rotary Journey that you can use as a club program when we're just continuing to build the library. So feel free to go out there and take a look under resources if you want to rewatch this video when it is completed. So thanks for that. And then it looks like Mary is on the line. So Mary, would you like to introduce yourself? You're on mute, my friend.
Thank you. Forgot that part. I am Mary Tingy. I'm the secretary for the Colville Club.
Oh, excellent. Glad you're here.
Thank you. I've just been in Rotary just over a year, so it's all new to me. So
you're going to love it. Promise.
Excited to learn.
Okay, so it is 6:35. I do know a couple of more people are probably going to sign on, but in the interest of starting and ending on time, Eric, let's get started. A couple of things. One, please put your questions in the chat box and Eric will answer them at the end of his presentation. We are recording so that you know that this will be put on the website afterwards. And Eric, are there any other things you'd like to say before you start with your presentation?
No, I'm good. Thanks, Debbie.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about the bandwidth. If you find that Eric starts to go in and out, mute yourselves, which we'll do anyway, and turn off your cameras. That will increase the bandwidth so that we can make sure we hear his presentation. So with that, Eric, thank you for being here and take it away.
All right, Debbie. Well, thanks for attending this presentation today. I appreciate your time in the evening. I'd like you to know that if certain sentences are blocked on your screen, you can minimize the pictures of the participants, and that will give you the full screen feature. So starting off with the secretary role description, there are certain responsibilities that we almost all will follow. So at the district training assembly and the district conference, your attendance will be much appreciated. You'll learn a lot there. One of the jobs, of course, if you're new, you would have had a meeting with the outgoing secretary. And because we follow the Rotary year, some of these things may be a bit behind us, but it will apply next year when you're passing on the torch. In my opinion, we're all members of the board of directors. There was a sentence in here that I deleted where you had to be invited, but a secretary should be part of the board. One of the big features that Rotary offers is a My Rotary account on Rotary.org. It is an excellent place for you to make changes to membership information, and update club records. Each year, we as secretaries receive the club invoices. They usually go out to the secretary, treasurer, and president, but the secretary, I think, is assumed to be the most communicating person within the club, other than perhaps the president, and the position is always filled. I don't think there are any clubs without secretaries. So one of our jobs is to serve on the club board and be part of the club administration committee. My little club doesn't have that. We're all participating in the management of the club. Taking minutes at club and board meetings would be one of your tasks. I don't take any minutes at regular meetings when we have guests and presenters, but every board meeting, we have a board meeting once a month, and minutes are produced. You might also get asked by the president to pick up the mail and deal with correspondence. So writing emails nowadays is a big part of the job. And of course, sending official notices, which I take are birthday cards to our members or their spouses, and that type of invitations would be part of the list. I also order name badges, other materials as new member packets, and quite often the task falls on the secretary to order t-shirts if there's a fundraising event, things like that. Taking attendance is starting to drop off a bit. I take attendance for our club purpose, but I don't submit them to the district 5080 website anymore. And I haven't heard any complaints about that. So I think that the focus is off that in the last couple of years. Historical records. Well, that is something that we don't have much of in our new club because it's brand new. I see, Steve, you're raising your hand. We're going to deal with questions at the end, if you don't mind. One of the tasks could also include writing an annual report at the end of the Rotary year. I think that these things are usually discussed at the board level, and decisions might vary from club to club. So one of the biggest jobs that I see in our club is that the secretary assists the president, and we are the communicators. We are providing the information back and forth, and it seems to be a very smooth system. So at the end of the year, you would be handing over your club records to your successor, of course, and that could be in the form of email records or still paper if you have that. My Rotary. It can be used to update personal information. Each member that has a Rotary, My Rotary account can do their own, but the secretary or president can also update the information for the club. And what I meant is for the club members. Club data can be uploaded at My Rotary or on Club Runner. I'm going to go over how to add or remove new members separately or later on in the presentation. We do it through Club Runner ourselves, so that's where I'll show it to you. And you can use Rotary Club Central to review and edit your club goals and progress towards them. We're just in the progress of doing that, a little bit late. I think that the idea is that you put in your goals in the springtime and work all year long to achieve them. So here's a reminder that only you, as secretary, the club president, can add club officers or new members, and you can set their level in Club Runner to a point where they can access more and more of the website backgrounds. This is an opening page basically in my Rotary, and it is an area we recommend that everybody has a My Rotary account. It's the quickest way to communicate with Rotary International. If you do it through Club Runner, there's just one step less, and I've had some notices lately where information wasn't properly transmitted to Rotary from Club Runner. So My Rotary is definitely a very good way to do that. So as far as the timeline goes, well, in the beginning of the year, January through June, I'll just bring them up. So this manual, we're talking about the manual that you saw on page 1 of the presentation. Rotary International has produced a secretary manual, and we used to hand them out at PETS, but with COVID-19, I'm not so sure how that process worked. You can of course order a secretary training manual or a treasurer training manual, even one for the president and other committees from Rotary International. It's a good time in the spring and early spring to read up on Rotary Club constitutions and bylaws, and visit your own and review them. Good time to meet with the president-elect to discuss club goals and schedule your administrative tasks and ask the president what you can do to serve. The outgoing secretary will give you, of course, the club records and will review procedures with you, perhaps introduce you to one of the most important parts of our job, the invoice that comes from Rotary International and from the district, and make sure that they get paid on time. Attending board meetings, we talked about that earlier. Participate in the club assembly after the district training. This is a time to set your goals, and the president may need you to enter those on Rotary Central. The role of secretary often gets mingled in with the treasurer, and in my club, the treasurer is very capable of sending out statements of club dues and reminding members to pay, so the secretary doesn't do that. I have a feeling that it's on here because the secretary role is always filled, and probably Rotary International relies on communication with the secretary a lot. So July, your new year has started. Here's that invoice again. Make sure you pass it on to both the treasurer and the club president and make sure that they got a copy of it. And it's also a really good time to have changed the membership to be correct. The idea is to do that late June, not in July, and that way the billing will be accurate. Rotary International uses the number of members on June 30th as their target for invoicing. So we're getting close to December, I guess. December is election time. November, December is when people start to think about the following year and the year after that and onwards. So the president will appreciate your support at that annual meeting. In January, time to review the club schedule of activities with the president and report incoming officers before February 1 on my Rotary. That way, communication from the top down flows to the right people. It's very important. So a few more administrative tasks at the international convention. We have voting rights as clubs, and you can for sure prepare to send a delegate to the Rotary convention. That person would have to attend and can vote on behalf of the club. A bit too quick there. So back in June, you confirm that your membership list is up to date so that the club invoice you receive in July will be correct. Time to make your report at the end of the year. I have not done that last year, to be honest, and that's maybe because I didn't take this training myself in the springtime. Here's some information about how to get members subscribed to the Rotarian or your regional magazine. In Canada, there's a Canadian version of the Rotarian as well. So these slides are a little bit too much to read off, but if you like, we will send you a copy of this presentation at the end or in the next few days, and you can use it as a resource as well. So this is part of the Club Runner page, and this is from when Lynn did the presentation, Lynn O'Connor. She's visiting with us today. And this is to add or delete members. And when you open Club Runner, you go to your own club's area, you click on member area, and you will be let into this page. And here on the right hand side, there's another column on the left, but it was left out for demonstration purposes. You see the word active members list. You would click on that and it will open your members from your club. You can see their names. When you click on them, their page opens. But we talked a bit about access. You can see that 70 is the normal access for a club member. But Mike Basehart very much is either the president or secretary or perhaps the treasurer, and his access rights have been given a higher or a lower number in this case, which gives him more access to Club Runner background information. So we don't really want everybody being able to change the executive for next year. It should be done by those people that have the authority to do so. This is the typical form that would open up when you want to enter a new member. And it starts basically with the information that you should have gotten from the interview process, or when the new member was proposed. In our case, we asked for some information that we know we need here. And so it even includes the name of the spouse, some birth dates and anniversaries. So you can enter them all here. And it stays private information, but it is helpful for the club to know when there's an anniversary so you can celebrate it. So this define club executives. So each year you would enter in the February timeframe, if you can, who will be president-elect, treasurer, etc., for the following year. And it's for communication purposes, very handy for district governors or district governor elector nominee to work with their year and have a good picture of who to contact for training, for pets, etc. So one of the duties might be that you have to remove a member. So I wouldn't do any of this without the board approval, but you know, some members are tardy with their payments, if it's monthly payments or yearly payments, and the club can't function without the funds. They are built for membership very promptly by Rotary International and by the district, so it's time to pay those bills. And we usually do the process of, we send a very nice letter to the member asking them to pay promptly and by a certain date. But if they refuse to do that, there would be a chance to terminate that membership. And if they pay up, you can always reinstate the membership. So when you remove a member from your club member list on My Rotary, the change is permanent and immediate. If you've removed a member by mistake, you'd have to go through the process of contacting data@rotary.org. The club changes they're talking about, you know, if you have a meeting change, meeting time, meeting place, it should be reported. It links through apps and so forth. You know, people use a phone app to learn where a club meets and at what time when you're traveling. So hopefully we continue to do that in the future. For those people that aren't comfortable making the changes, you can email data@rotary.org and come to the same result at the end. So again, talk to the club treasurer, make sure that he or she is willing and able to deal with the invoices in July and perhaps again in January when you do them in 2 portions. Rotary International bills clubs for dues and RI fees twice a year. So the district, I'm not so sure at the moment, but I believe it's once a year. I hope someone corrects me if I'm wrong. So the member list has to be updated by June 30th and December 31st. Otherwise, you will get billed for the higher number, or you know, and the club has to pay it. There's no negotiating on that. So the treasurer is responsible for paying the amount shown on the invoice, but you or president can also pay it. So if you do it by credit card payment, then you can just deal with it at your next board meeting and get reimbursed. And if you don't receive your invoice by the end of July or January, you can print a copy from rotary.org or request it. But I've not heard of that before. If your email works, you get it. So the fees that we pay to Rotary International cover Rotary's general operating expenses, including the publications that I mentioned before. And they of course offer fantastic backup. Each club has a contact, not a individual contact, but there are contacts at Rotary International that you can contact for your area, for your club, and they will know who's calling. They will know how to help you. Now, club constitution, sorry, lost that. Our club is just reviewing the standard constitution and bylaws and making them ours, making some minor changes to them. But it's good to do this from time to time. Every few years, a club should go through it. It's almost like your will, you have to update it. Yes, Yvonne, I'll get on it right away. And same with the bylaws, of course. Club archive. There is a spot on Club Runner where you can keep all documents, your meeting minutes, your financial records, and make it part of an archive. I highly recommend that. Otherwise, they might get lost when roles, when people pass on their roles and no longer are members of Rotary or pass away. So do it on Club Runner, and you'll have them forever, hopefully. So some of the resources available to you, I'm just going to pull them out here. I'm not going to read them out. But I find the assistant governors are great sources of information and support. If they can't get the answer, they will ask the district governor or the specialist, like foundation committee chairperson, and get the answers for you. The club and district support representative is what I mentioned earlier. It's a staff member at Rotary, and they will help you as much as possible. A list of policy and reference documents that are available from Rotary International and help you get started if you don't have your own bylaws, if you're a new club. Like we had a few new clubs last year, 2 passport clubs. So, and I don't know if there were regular meeting clubs as well. We were invited not too long ago to go to Rotary International and take some courses on training. I started mine, was not able to finish it all, but I plan to. And it's just a good way to stay up to date on everything. A few more resources like the online store. Rotary Club Central. And I think that we'll have time to dig into this a little deeper and help you find My Rotary and how to sign up with that. Maybe talk a little bit more about Club Runner as well. Here's some more publications that we get on a regular basis. You know, brand centers where I go for my logos each year, add them to my signature, and also for the website, good way to upload up-to-date logos. They change each year, as you know. Rotary images, also perfect. So really, that's the end of the presentation as far as me talking. I think I'm going to try and find you guys again and ask for some comments, ask for some input and questions. Maybe Debbie, you can update us a little bit on what the questions have been so far.
Thank you, Eric, and thanks for your presentation. There's a lot to take in with all of the things that need to be done. Hopefully someone picked up something new there that they might not have known about before. I know that our club's in the middle of updating their, we've looked at our bylaws, but we're also looking at our constitution. So knowing what's out there to compare what we have to what we think we need to have will be very, very beneficial. So we'll go out and take a look at that. I think that we had a question from Steve. Steve, did you still have a question or did it get answered?
Yeah, no, I do. Has the membership change been made official through the district? You know, we do it through Club Runner, so it's fairly automated. But if really nobody cares at the district level or RI, I'm more than happy to stop taking attendance, but I'm looking for the district's official stance on that.
Well, we have a past district governor and an incoming district governor. Maybe we can ask for some comments. Bob? Bob, your microphone.
Yes. That's an interesting question because we've heard from Rotary International that we don't have to take attendance any longer. And yet they still send us attendance numbers and everything. So it's up in the air. I would say if you don't want to take attendance, you don't have to.
Okay.
And
Lynn?
Lynn?
Other question I've got is, it sounds like, Eric, you're having issues. Anytime we make a change in Club Runner, I get error messages galore that appears that Club Runner and Rotary International are not communicating. It's driving me nuts. Has anybody found a solution, or is Club Runner aware of the problem? I've looked, I just haven't found any more details on it.
Okay, first Bob, first Eric, and then it looks like Franca had her hand up as well. She might have an answer, Eric, so you go first.
I don't really have an answer to that. I get the same messages, and I know that the information has been entered properly, so
Yeah.
haven't had time to follow up with Club Runner. But
Okay, so maybe Franca has an answer for us.
Well,
Let's hear
I don't
from
know.
the expert.
Yeah, I don't, can you hear me? Am
Yeah.
I unmuted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know if I have an answer other than a frustration as well, as Steve has mentioned, because we had 3 new members through COVID, and we're working through Zoom, and I'm trying to add them from a distance, etc. And I have tried, I've added them, and it's not accepting the RI information with the other information. It's not syncing. And I keep on getting error, 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 error. So I went to data at rotary.org every day consistently, and I would get the return answer, which is, we're very busy, during COVID, and we can't help you. So it took about a month for me to get everything sorted out. So yeah, it is a bit of frustration. So I don't know what's happening on data at rotary.org end.
Thank
It
you.
sounds
So
universal.
one of the things
Yeah.
that I know is that they've been revamping their website, and so we have had a lot of frustration, especially with the Rotary Learning Center. As you know, you're getting emails from me once a month, and we've been encouraging you to go out to the Learning Center and take the secretary course that's out there, which walks you through a lot of the Rotary International requirements and their website, but it's been down. And so that was one of the questions I had for this group. Has anyone gone out and completed the courses out there on the Rotary Learning Center? And if so, can you share with the group if you found them beneficial or not? So that basically tells me no one's been out there. So I've taken a few of them. I haven't finished them yet. I do find them interesting. I've been in Rotary 32 years, 31 years. I've been secretary a time or two during those years. But what I am finding out on the Learning Center is there are some new things out there that I didn't know even with my years of service. So I encourage you to go take a look if you want to enhance your experience or make things a little bit easier out there, along with what Eric's teaching us from a district standpoint. So
Karen?
Miss Karen, take yourself off mute,
Microphone.
please.
There you
Sorry.
go.
The secretary's manual is actually out of date. It's not available anymore. The training from the Learning Center is the most up-to-date offering on our duties and responsibilities. I did take that course. I did find it useful. I'm a 6-year secretary now. I had something else and totally forgot. Go ahead.
We're giving you a minute to recall.
Oh, good grief. Okay.
Bob?
On the attendance, even though it's not required, I do take attendance because after a meeting, I keep track of who attended in person and who was on Zoom. We're doing hybrid meetings. And for those folks who didn't attend either, I send a meeting recap. So taking attendance helps me identify those folks who weren't tuned in, either in person or online. And it gives me an opportunity to keep them engaged by sending them a meeting recap on Club Runner through the email service, because I can just pick who I want to send it to and send it out that way. And I really feel that it does keep members who aren't able to or choose not to attend engaged.
It's
So
wonderful,
Karen,
Karen.
follow-up question with that. Are you turning that attendance into Rotary International, or are you keeping it for the club?
I am not. It is club info that we keep at the club level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think Bob wants to.
Yeah, I had a couple of comments on Rotary International. Keep in mind that during COVID, what was happening was all of the personnel that work at Rotary International were working from home. And they found, number one, that really taxed their system because they no longer had the high-speed internet connections from their corporate location. Now everybody had to come in through another connection. And so they've been having some issues and they've been working through them. The club and district support contact that Eric mentioned is a real good contact, but they found during COVID that those people could work just as well from a location. So they've sent them out to the zones to live out there. And so our club and district contact, I think now is in New Mexico rather than in Chicago. Been getting really good support, and I've always had good help from him. If he wasn't there, he got back with me immediately. So that is a really good contact if you've got a question to call club and district support. The other thing you can do is if you're having a problem and you don't know if it's Club Runner or RI, and you don't know if the updating is correct, you can always contact Club Runner support. They have also been very, very helpful, and they can look at it, and you're going to get the same answer if it's a sticky issue, that Club Runner will tell you it's RI and RI will tell you it's Club Runner, but you can't get out of that. We were on a meeting a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, with Zone, and they gave out some membership numbers, and I was looking at the numbers for Columbia Center Rotary, which is my club, and we have about 120 members. During part of the time they're recording numbers, they had us down for 30, 35 members. So not only were the numbers off, they were way, way off, and they got those from RI. So as a secretary, it's a good idea to always compare what you see on Club Runner with RI, because sometimes things don't get loaded up right.
Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, something to keep in mind too, I always do my member data input on Club Runner, but then a couple of days later, I go to RI to make sure that it's there. And you have to remember that info travels from Club Runner to RI in a best case scenario. But if you go into RI and load a new member, it's not going to end up on Club Runner. You're going to have to load it 2 places. So that information travels in one direction, not both.
Isn't there an automatic synchronicity when you use Club Runner and it goes to, because there's a little tick box at the end after you use Club Runner.
Yeah.
and it synchronizes with RI, correct?
It's supposed to, but it's worth checking. It doesn't always sync.
Yeah, it's lately, Frank, it seems to be lately, that's where the problem has been going on. And it's been going on for 6 months or so. I think it was even pre-COVID. I really figured with the updates it'd be solved. And I will reach out and have a discussion with Club Runner. And if I find information out, I'll get it back. Debbie, I'll probably reach out to you or Bob, and then we can share it with the secretaries and see if it's something we're doing wrong. But, you know, I've been doing this job so long that it's second nature, and I'm going, I know I input the stuff right.
Yeah.
But what I've started doing now is I go to Club or Rotary first, input them there, I get their Rotary ID, then I go back to Club Runner and put them there. It still gives me errors, but at least I feel more confident that I know the information is accurate with Rotary International. Club Runner is just great for us internally, but I want to make sure RI is correct. So that's what I've done just to feel better about it.
Okay, thank you. Karen?
I've also noticed that in the past, when you entered a new member on Club Runner, it gave you a Rotary ID number, but it doesn't anymore. So that's one of the error messages you get after you load a new member. And you do have to go to RI to pick up their new member number. It's not as spiffy as it used to be.
One of the other things when in talking about membership numbers is a couple of things. One, if you have a Rotarian transferring into your club, not assigning them a new number, they'll lose all of their history. That happened to me back in 1992 when I went from Club 21 to the Rotary Club of Pullman. They assigned me a new number. So it took me a long time to go back into the Rotary archives with RI to get my information updated. So that's one thing. And the other thing is if they come in as a membership lead, so we talked a little bit about the membership leads that come to us as secretaries. They go to the president and to us. If someone puts their name in through Rotary International and you get a lead from RI, they have already assigned them a membership number in anticipation of their interest in joining a Rotary Club. So again, that's another area where you already have a pre-assigned number from RI. Make sure that's the number you put in when you're working with Club Runner and with Rotary International.
Yeah, I think that's why they're not assigning the numbers anymore from Club Runner, because there was a lot of confusion. People were getting that lead and not using the number that was on there. And so it didn't show that the lead was being tracked.
Colleen.
I just wanted to jump in and make a reference to get to know your local assistant governor. They also will see your membership leads and they can help ensure that you get the right Rotary ID number. They also might have another club who's dealing with a similar like back-end issue like with Club Runner or RI. So they might have other solutions to assist you.
And if your AG is Colleen, she'll have all the answers.
I just want to say too, while we're talking about this, I see Lynn also put in the chat box that district leadership is there to help you. Eric's our go-to person for these issues, and then he can share those things out with the AGs, out with the secretaries. So as district secretary, make sure we have him in the loop with some of the issues that we're having. Not only will he probably have the answer, but if he doesn't, he'll know who we can go to get that answer. And then as we continue to evolve in our roles, we can put that information out to everyone through Club Runner and through bulk emails to the secretaries, if it's something that would benefit everyone in the group. Joanne, did you have your hand up?
No, scratching.
Oh, all right, that's allowed. Other questions for Eric?
Just a comment from Eric. RTM, is that Robert? Robert, our district is also looking into DAC-DB in the background, you know, at the council level. And so we're weighing the options, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the future.
Do you want to tell the rest of the group a little bit about what that is, Eric?
I have not investigated DAC-DB myself. I think that Kees Vanderpoel, last district governor, is involved with that because he uses it for pets and registration, and he thinks it's great. So I haven't had a chance to look into it. Sorry.
So Bob, maybe you could explain a little bit about the similarities and differences between that and Club Runner.
Both of Club Runner and DACDB are companies that provide tools to use with Rotary. That includes keeping track of all your members, all your membership data, all of that kind of thing, plus the website. So both of them have those capabilities. A little bit difference in terms of cost. With DACDB, it's a little more cost to the district, less cost to the clubs if the entire district has it. But we will be looking into that. As far as I know, with the Tri-City Sunrise, there's also Nakusp that's DACDB right now. So those two are using DACDB. And everyone else is either using Club Runner or not using a website. You're not absolutely required to have either. You can go through RI for everything, but it really helps when you have that front end presence of a website to help with membership, to get members in, to let the community know what you're doing, that kind of thing.
Thank you, Bob. Other questions or comments? Closing remarks by Eric.
Well, I wasn't counting on closing remarks, but
you always get the last word.
Let me start again by thanking you all for attending. Congratulations on what you do for Rotary, and please keep in touch with our group in the future through training, assemblies, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for taking the time to put this together.
I would also echo Colleen's comments about the AG. The governor line can't be everywhere all the time. And so that's the reason we have the AGs. They are the front line with the clubs. And AGs have from 4 to 8 clubs that they deal with. They're there to answer your questions, and if they don't know the answer, to get an answer. They communicate regularly with the governor line and with the district leadership. So if you've got questions or you need help, certainly reach out. And if you can't get a response from the AG, then reach out to the governor's line. Any one of them can help you. We'd be glad to.
All right, thanks very much everyone for attending. This will be put on the Club Runner site. If you don't have Club Runner, let us know and we'll be able to get this to you for review. If you have any questions in the future, there's a whole bunch of people that want to help you. So thank you for your time tonight, and watch for your monthly district training updates. So have a great evening.
Thank you.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Night. Night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.